Tucker, there's something very strange going on at CNN. Tucker Carlson Tonight host examines accusations of accused pedophiles at the network. Warning, some details from indictment may be disturbing. John Griffin, a former senior producer for CNN who was accused of child sex crimes, pleaded guilty in federal court after being charged a year ago, according to the Associated Press. The federal government dropped 2 of the 3 charges against Griffin as part of the agreement. According to the AP, he must pay full restitution to the victims, an amount which will be determined by the court, and has agreed to forfeit a Tesla vehicle, and electronic items, and to donate half of the proceeds from the sale of his Vermont home and the upcoming sale of a Mercedes vehicle into the court registry. Griffin, 45, faces a minimum of 10 years to life in prison and a fine up to $250,000. His sentencing is scheduled for March 2023. A federal indictment accused the Stamford, Connecticut, resident of coercing parents to allow their minor daughters as young as 7 years old to engage in sexual activity in his Vermont ski home. Charges against CNN producer accused of inducing minors for sex reveal lewd details. Longtime CNN senior producer John Griffin was arrested by the FBI after being charged with shocking sex crimes with girls as young as 9 years old. Longtime CNN senior producer John Griffin was arrested by the FBI after being charged with shocking sex crimes with girls as young as 9 years old. Vermont State Police. The CNN veteran was initially charged by a grand jury in Vermont with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont wrote in a statement last December that Griffin sought to persuade parents to allow him to train their daughters to be sexually submissive. Longtime CNN producer John Griffin's devices seized 17 months before child sex trafficking arrest. Griffin later transferred over $3,000 to the mother for plane tickets so the mother and her 9-year-old daughter could fly from Nevada to Boston's Logan Airport. The mother and child flew to Boston in July of 2020, where Griffin picked them up in his Tesla and drove them to his Ludlow house. At the house, the daughter was directed to engage in, and did engage in, unlawful sexual activity, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont alleged. CNN senior producer John Griffin was charged by a grand jury in Vermont Friday with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. CNN senior producer John Griffin was charged by a grand jury in Vermont Friday with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. Twitter. According to the unsealed indictment, Griffin stated he believes there is a wanton horror at the core of any female and that a woman is a woman regardless of her age, according to messages included in the indictment. Ex-CNN producer John Griffin's prison pal is a convicted pedophile, sources. Griffin sent text messages to a mother of 2 daughters, ages 9 and 13, which stated, "One of the big lies of this society is that women are delicate innocent angels and they are in actuality, naturally, the dirtiest sluts possible, in every metric." The CNN producer also allegedly texted the mother, "When handled appropriately, a woman is a woman regardless of her age," and urged the mother to make sure her 13-year-old daughter was trained properly. CNN fired senior producer John Griffin over child sex trafficking allegations. CNN fired senior producer John Griffin over child sex trafficking allegations. LinkedIn. The indictment indicated he had sexually trained girls as young as 7 years old and advised a mother that her 14-year-old daughter would be a good candidate for such training. He allegedly proposed that training would begin on a video chat where he planned to instruct the 14-year-old and her mother to remove their clothing and touch each other, and eventually declared in-person meetings would include spanking and CK worship. Griffin's attorney did not immediately respond to Fox News requests for comment. Griffin was a producer for CNN's now cancelled morning program New Day. He had worked at the network for 8 years. CNN fired him shortly after his arrest. The ex-CNN producer was previously slapped with a $15 million civil lawsuit by a 9-year-old Jane Doe. Min News' Brian Flood contributed to this report.